Good evening and welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting for October 27th, 2015. It is our custom to present the invocation and pledge before calling the meeting officially to order. Tonight, the invocation will be presented by Donald Zelmer from the Church of Christ of Latter-day Saints, followed by the pledge that will be presented by Investigator Billy Hale. The investigator began his career in Cobb County Sheriff's Office in 2007. In May of 2015, he was assigned to the Criminal Investigations, where he currently serves as a fraud investigator. He has also been a member of the Cobb County Sheriff's Honor Guard since 2010 and represents the agency at a variety of very formal functions. For those who wish to do so, please rise for the invocation and the pledge.
Thank you, Chairman Lee. Our Father in heaven, we, thy sons and daughters of Cobb County, come before thee at this Cobb County Commissioners meeting this evening, grateful for the opportunity to live in a land of freedom, where freedom and free agency is important. We're grateful for the many bounteous blessings that have been bestowed upon us, and we pray that we might have reason and common sense in this meeting, and that we might be joyful and caring about those that we live with. We ask thee to bless us as we travel home, that no one might have accident or any automobile problems, and that we might be able to glorify thy name. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you being part of our meeting. We'll call this meeting now officially to order. For those that are following along in our agenda item, earlier today we had a work session and we went through items under tab 1 and tab 2. Tonight we begin our evening with tab 3 presentations. The first presentation listed on the agenda is being removed for future consideration, as the gentleman to be featured is not feeling well today, and we wish him well to feeling better. So that takes us to item number 2, and it's to present certificates of recognition to Cobb Steelers, led by Commissioner Burrow and Mr. Cannon.
What a great looking team we've got here tonight. Well, I have the honor, along with Mr. Cannon from our Parks and Rec division, of congratulating this great Cobb Steelers team and recognizing them for winning the National Special Olympics Championship in the silver level. They went to Kansas this summer and competed against 32 other teams across the country and international. And we're very proud of them tonight, and I have a certificate to read, and then we're going to recognize each one individually. Mr. Cannon.
Yeah, we're very, very proud of the team. It's always awesome to be able to send athletes across the country to be able to represent Cobb County and be ambassadors to our county. And this team is definitely that. They played against teams not only in the United States, but international teams also, and came away with the second place medal, which is awesome, guys. I'm very, very proud of you and what you've done. Also, I'm very proud of the coaches. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to be able to do the job that you do, and we appreciate that very much. And we also appreciate the team mom. So thank you.
Okay, first is Tony Akers. The Cobb County, stay up here. The Cobb County Board of Commissioners congratulates you and your Special Olympics Georgia Cobb softball team, the Cobb Steelers, for winning the silver medal in your division at the North American National Softball Tournament. 32 teams from across the country and international delegations from Canada, Caribbean, Latin America, all traveled to Kansas with more than 360 athletes and 100 coaches participating. All members of the Cobb Steelers are winners both on and off the field. Your team was able to build physical fitness, emphasize teamwork, and enhance strategic thinking. As a softball player, you helped the team achieve greatness, and we're very proud of all your accomplishments. This is the 27th day of October from the Board of Commissioners. Congratulations to you all. Okay, Roderick Brewster, that's for you. I'll give you a cold. Carrie Carter, congratulations. Lloyd Dante, congratulations. Chris Fair, congratulations. Tim Gilbert, you're a coach, obviously. Bobby King, thank you. Scott King. I have a little bit of a cold, that's why I'm not shaking hands and hugging tonight. Shaquille Pinson, congratulations. Billy Rice, congratulations. Mike Scott, congratulations, folks. James Small. Chris Stetzel, congratulations. And Larry Thompson, congratulations. Daryl Thornton. And I'd also like to recognize our staff that's here. JC's usually at the Mountain View Community Center with me. And Tina Mitchell. And of course, everybody knows Eddie Cannon. Thank you all. Congratulations, and do it again next year.
Congratulations all. The next item number 3, to present a proclamation to Georgia Toastmaster, Commissioner Ott.
Vicky, come on up. I always have to worry about doing this one because I know that she's grading everything that I say.
We are too.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about you. Okay. I'll let you say something. Everyone's heard of Toastmaster International, and they are a world leader in communication and leadership development. Every Toastmaster's journey begins with a single speech. Georgia Toastmasters District 44 has experienced an 18% growth just over the past year, with now having more than 4,500 members. This year, their fall conference, the theme is Make a Difference, Be the Difference, and it's being held in Cobb County. Therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby recognize the many contributions of the Georgia Toastmasters District 44 and welcome all members celebrating the fall conference on November 13th and 14th. This event will help members realize their potential by finding their voices and giving back through mentoring and networking. So I'm going to give you this, and then I'm going to let you say a few words.
Okay. I'll let her hold that. Well, Toastmasters in Georgia has grown really, really big. We are so proud of all of our members, And it does take that first speech to really make a difference, to get that courage to come up and speak to others. But we work with not only adults, but with youth, and we tell them this is giving you a voice that you can carry through the rest of your lives. So I would encourage all of you to join a Toastmaster group or find one. Sit down, see what we do, see if it's something you would like to learn communication, leadership, if in your job, in your home. Toastmasters can help you in many, many ways. This is Lana McFarland. We in the Toastmaster district have district roles, and Lana is our head honcho. She is our district director. I am the program quality director. I'm in charge of education and training. And Lana oversees all of the 4,000 plus members that we have.
Wow, all right.
Thank you. It's an honor to get this proclamation from Cobb County. I was here last year, and the wonderful thing about this organization, for Toastmasters International, it truly is an international organization, and Cobb County is part of 330,000 members worldwide in 135 countries. So we are honored that you have given us this proclamation to celebrate, and we will make a difference, and we will be the difference. Thank you.
Now, as you guys are walking back, you see all these scouts here. They have a public speaking merit badge. So you have a huge audience.
That's why I work with the youth. I was just doing a class today, and I am in the Gwinnett schools, but I'm not yet in the Cobb County schools.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is to present a proclamation regarding World Pancreatic Cancer Day. Commissioner Ott.
Is Fran here? And are you girls here? While she's walking up, as we get ready to put away pink ties and things like that, kind of emphasizing breast cancer awareness, and as we start growing mustaches next month for prostate cancer, there is a cancer that people don't hear a lot about, but it can be very devastating because it typically is found late, and the survival rate is not very high. With me, I have Mrs. Fran Colley and her 4-year-old twin daughters, Caroline and Madeline. Is this your grandmother? Okay. Pancreatic cancer is currently the 4th leading cause of cancer-related deaths, projected to become the 2nd by 2020. In 2015, almost 49,000 people will be diagnosed in the U.S., with 1,040 of those in Georgia. While pancreatic cancer attacks people of all ages, there is a growing trend of younger and younger victims. Since symptoms present themselves at a late stage, it is one of the deadliest cancers. 73% of patients die within the first year, and 93% die within the first 5 years. Therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby declare November 13th World Pancreatic Cancer Day in Cobb County, and encourage everyone to learn more about this disease and support vital research into causes, early detection, and effective treatments.
I did not know that I would be speaking after the Toastmasters, but I may be joining them later. Okay. On behalf of the Atlanta chapter of the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, we would like to thank you for the opportunity to address the Commission. The Pancreatic Cancer Action Network is a national organization creating hope in a comprehensive way through research, patient support, community outreach, and advocacy for a cure. I am here today because my husband, Mark Colley, was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Our children were 16 months old, so we are here today to tell you that pancreatic cancer affects people of all ages, from the oldest to the youngest, and he survived for 22 months, in great part thanks to the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network and the therapies that they support. There's more here, but their main fundraiser is November 13th. It's a 5K Purple Stride race, and we would like anyone who can to participate or donate in any way. So thank you very much.
Get down here.
What happened to Bob?
That's yours.
Thank you for being with us today. This takes us to tab 4, at SunTrust Park update. Mr. County Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. I'm going to provide a construction update on SunTrust Park. Go to the next one. Construction, we have over 700 workers on site, or the Braves, the contractors. 820,000 man hours as of mid-October, no lost time due to accidents. That's amazing to do that. Go to the next one, Brad. The upper level pour is complete from left field to around home plate. All upper level concrete pour is expected to be complete in early December. And now you can see the seating bowl, precast concrete placement continually at field level. It's amazing if you get the opportunity to drive by there from week to week. You can really see it taking shape as a stadium. They're also placing for internal circulation ramps to begin this week. And you can see the light towers and the scoreboard steel erection. You see the steel going up for the stadium off facilities to begin this week. And they've also started a lot of the exterior brickwork around the stadium, so you can actually see it start taking shape on Circle 75. Views as of October the 23rd. It's really beginning to look like a stadium. Go to the next one. Public safety still is a priority, and staff continue to work with the Braves and their private security group to identify needs for SunTrust Park and the mixed-use development. And they're reviewing drafts for security officers for our staff to use and others. And we're looking at ways to route the 911 calls when you're in the stadium so that we can try to minimize some of the delay in response time. And so, along with our staff, 911, and also our IS department, is working with the organization to see what we can do to look at that as well. This next one is an update on the battery, which is not part of the stadium, but it's mixed use around it. And I think it's so as people look at that, they know that there is another component, but that's not part of the county responsibility. This is a private mixed use development. Go ahead and roll that. with that, Mr. Chairman, you get a feel for the sense and the excitement that's going to be coming along with the SunTrust Park. I have a few commitment numbers I'd like to share with you, and just on the stadium alone, the Ballpark Park project total commitments as of today is $415,066,185 with 55 subcategories. In the Georgia companies participating commitments, there's $300,690,048, 72% of total commitments of Georgia companies with 38 subcategories. Cobb County, out of the Georgia commitments and for the project, $233,623,952, 56% of the total commitments in Georgia in 22 subcategories. And our DBE total today on the stadium, just the stadium construction, is 15.26%.
Great
and
numbers.
with that, Mr. Chairman, that is my update for the day, and I'll entertain any questions.
Thank you,
but
sir.
everything's going well.
Good. Great information, great presentation. Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board?
Just to share that those are very strong numbers to see the number of Cobb County organizations that are participating in the bill and DBE numbers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Takes us to tab 5, Community Development. We have one item. Director Johnson.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Dan Johnson, Cobb County Community Development. Here to ask you to please open a public hearing and consider adoption of a Chattahoochee Corridor Plan certificate for an addition to a single-family home at 632 Club Lane. As a matter of reference, in 1973, the Georgia General Assembly approved the Metropolitan Rivers Protection Act. As part of that, properties within a certain distance of the Chattahoochee River are required prior to land disturbance activity to obtain a certificate that is reviewed by the Atlanta Regional Commission. The ARC has reviewed this particular proposal. They are in concurrence that it is in compliance with the plan, and as such, we would ask you to please open the public hearing and consider accepting or approving the certificate.
Thank you, sir. With that, we'll open a public hearing for this item and this item only. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this item, please come forward this time. Seeing and hearing none, the public hearing is closed. Commissioner Ott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion to approve the agenda item number 2.
Second.
Any comments? Call the question. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, sir. That takes us to our first public comment period. Bill?
Pamela White.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Pamela White, HOA President of Parkview Commons in Mableton, Georgia. Our property was erected in 2002, and in 2003, I was extremely excited about becoming a first-time homeowner in Parkview. The role of HOA President has broadened my spectrum on how business practices and the process has potential to work, but falls short. This drives me to stay the course when my discontent tugs at me to turn and walk away. Reminds me often of Inner City Blues lyrics by Marvin Gaye. Our community was built with hidden flaws that appear to be swept under the rug, such as improper codes for hydrants, street parking, sewer, and drainage. In addition, crucial inspections were not on file or registered as public record. Over the years, these flaws have reared the ugly issues that plague us. Every month, the never-ending, mounting, and sometimes overwhelming challenges drain our limited and strained budget, almost to the point of no return. We have learned much and still are through trial and error. Our dealings with the builder were at best an unspeakable experience. Our community over a period of years is suffering the shortcomings and oversights mishandled by Cobb County and unincorporated Mableton. We live here. We purchased property trusting that at the very least, Cobb County was monitoring the construction process throughout completion. Most subdivisions have builder flaws. However, we have too many to count. These infractions are the most expensive for properties not worthy of the monies this HOA board has spent to correct. As a board of directors, our focus should not be infrastructural flaws. Unknown to us was what lies beneath. Poor decisions led to construction practices, poor cut corners, limited budgets, and finally a flawed but externally appealing product. Streets, hydrants, exterior plumbing, proper drainage, roofing, code violations, additional parking, and inspections to name a few. Why wasn't Big Brother watching? I once rented property in DeKalb County. I expected much better purchasing in Cobb. A-plus builders built another property similar to ours, not as many challenges, and on the Fulton County line. Perhaps Fulton County inspections were held to a higher standard? A-plus builders' properties are an F equals fail, to date and in comparison to the Meadows at Queens Mill, Brookview, and Oakdale Bluffs, to name a few. Parkview is a poorly constructed townhome community in Cobb County. We welcome the Board of Commissioners to visit us at Parkview. The builder, long deceased, his company defunct. 13 years later, all the ugliness washes to the surface. When we extend the olive branch for assistance, it's broken by those in position to tell us, sorry, we can't help. You're on your own. This is your community responsibility. So my question would be, if we are responsible, then who is held accountable for the flawed design of this community? Accountability trumps responsibility on many levels. We as an active board of directors should not take full financial responsibility for a builder and those who signed off on improper inspections and turned a blind eye on new construction. Affordable homes or communities labeled as such should not be subjected to lower standards or subpar construction. This is unacceptable. It was in 2002. It is in 2015 and moving forward. We are frustrated, yet we are here this evening, standing united as an HOA board and requesting a probe of practices that are hindering our growth and our abilities to maintain our community. We are asking for financial resource assistance to address builder flaws and follow-ups to unkempt promises on warranties. Perhaps grants are available for communities like ours. Simply put, we are investors in our homes. We are tax-paying, law-abiding citizens of Cobb who, as volunteers, need your help. We do not wish to be continuously harassed or threatened with fines while we work tirelessly and diligently to make improvements so all can be proud to live at Parkview. In closing, I would like to take this opportunity to thank those that have assisted us. Jerry Lanham of the Cobb Code Enforcement, Fire Chief Ian Martin, Station 1, Mapleton Parkway, ATO Towing Services of Atlanta, and Detective Maxwell and the Cobb Police Department. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker, please.
Mr. Delancey.
Greetings, Board of Commissioners. We would like to first congratulate our Commissioner Cupid for passing the bar.
Pardon me, I'm going to need your name for the record, please.
My name is Monica Delancey.
Thank you.
It's DeWanna Webster and Lil Bubba.
Thank you.
Okay, we're Six Flags Drive residents, and we have been advocating for the Six Flags Drive community, especially since I've been living here in 2007, but most recently staying abreast of the South Cobb Redevelopment Authority as it pertains to redevelopment in the Six Flags Drive area. We also would like to commend Sabrina Young, who served as the liaison with the South Cobb Redevelopment Authority as it pertains to the redevelopment in the Six Flags Drive area. She's been nothing but professional throughout this whole process, and also Mr. Dana Johnson. Since I've been going to the meetings and coming here as well, I've always stayed on message, was talking about making sure that there's resources brought to the area, workforce development initiatives, and also programs for our youth. Most recently, the South Cobb Redevelopment Authority has purchased the Magnolia Crossing Apartments on Six Flags Drive. On last week, October 15th, most of the residents were given their notice that they would have to vacate the property by January 31st. That's in the dead of winter time. That's dealing with a lot of residents who are working and having shoestring budgets. So most importantly, they would need not only resources, but substantial financial support. I don't know too many people who can move in short notice without having being stabilized with financial support as pertains to application fees for new apartments, and also there's going to be a rent increase. Most of the residents over there were paying about $400 a month for a 2-bedroom. And then the next affordable housing in the Six Flags Drive area, or even if you look out Windy Hill, most of the apartments run about $600. So these residents who were staying over there, they were paying about $400 a month. There's going to be an increase in their rent. And the only way to make it right is to offer a substantial financial support to help them as they move. But also, as we're looking at this, there must be an assessment done on what type of resources needed throughout the Six Flags Drive area, and also the other communities that have high apartments, such as the Windy Hill area as well. So in closing, Cobb County needs to continuously look at affordable housing options in the Cobb County, as well as making sure there's workforce development and also the transit services are up to par. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Larry Savage.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Larry Savage from East Cobb. For the last few months, I have invested some of my time in exploring the work of the Development Authority of Cobb County. I'm not going to try to go over everything that I have learned about the Development Authority tonight. I have composed a report that I will email to you later this week. You can give it as much attention as you wish. In my view, the Development Authority, contrary to what I've heard, was not created by the state. The state created the law. The Development Authority was created by the Board of Commissioners. And so it would follow the Board of Commissioners to deal with the Development Authority if they start to run off track, which I believe they have. To put it in shortest possible terms, the incentive plans that they offer to attract jobs to Cobb County has defaulted into a tax policy where everybody gets a tax abatement. It's just that simple. They have abandoned the legal constraints that apply. We've got 7 pages of text here out of the Development Authority law that define a project that can be financed by the Development Authority. The Development Authority has chosen to abandon the 7 pages, and I've circled one paragraph that they have identified as their authority to finance projects and identify a project. Now, there was an attempt in the legislature in the past session to do exactly this, to throw out the 7 pages of definition and keep only the 1 paragraph. It did not pass. But the Development Authority of Cobb County is operating as though it did pass. And in fact, in their documents, when they approve a project, they identify paragraph N as their authority. So they are fully aware of what they're doing. But everything that provides a limitation on what they can do has been basically dismissed by the Development Authority without any legal provision for doing so. There are other issues. I believe there are some conflicts of interest. Contrary to popular opinion, Development Authority does not finance these projects. Their client has to have a bank loan lined up before he comes in. The Development Authority issues the bond in exchange for the financing of the bank, and they do this only to give them the legal cover to be the owner of the property so that they can take it off the tax digest, and that's the source of the tax abatement. So the provision that they're financing is not entirely accurate, but they do issue the bonds. The bond attorneys get their cut, and so it goes. But I think we have other issues as well. Since the mission seems to be the creation of jobs, the 4 office buildings that are currently approved are all going to be populated with local people, with other local companies that are currently housed in other local buildings. They're just going to move locally into the new buildings. There are specific provisions in the law that describe what has to be in place for an office building to be granted the tax abatement, and they don't meet them, not even close. This applies to the in-house incentive committee as well. They have taken a very liberal view of what qualifies for the in-house incentives, and just about everything that comes to the door in the year 2015 gets approved. So I think it's something that requires exploration. I've given you a lot more information when it appears here in the email, probably a lot more information than you want, but I basically couldn't find a good place to cut it off. I had to give you the information as it fell and not based upon brevity. So if you have any questions when you see it, you can certainly know how to get hold of me, and I hope we can see some improvement in the conduct. As so far, the 2015 projects will take about $10 million out of Cobb County's revenue and about $20 million out of the school district's revenue. And this is for an incentive plan that doesn't appear to have any incentive production or value whatever. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Tom Cheek.
Thank you, Chairman. Congratulations, Commissioner Cupid. My name is Tom Cheek. I have a short story to share with you this evening, just for perspective. The story is as accurate as my personal memory. 41 years ago this month, I was a 14-year-old boy participating in an intramural football game. We were the Mableton Tigers from Lions Club Park, playing the South Cobb Vipers of Wallace Park. The team that I played for was racially integrated, and the team we were playing was not, so there was a lot of attention on the game. We prided ourselves in our defense and had gone all year without any team scoring on us. I played defensive end and was pretty good at what I did. The best players on those teams would have a chance to make their high school teams the following year. On the first play of the game, my opponent held me and dragged me to the ground, an obvious penalty. I'd not been taken to the ground all year in those 8 or 9 games, so I was angry. Terry Painter was the tight end for the other team. I remember him. And on the second play before the snap, I yelled across the line, "Painter, let's see you do that without holding." Well, Painter proceeded to do exactly that for the next 30 consecutive plays. He took me right to my backside on the field without holding. So I have known defeat in the arena. I've faced a stronger opponent. Now, 41 years later, you and I are going to be opponents on an issue. You say that the Braves Bridge should be paid for out of funds intended for parks, fire stations, sidewalks, and senior centers. I say that the Braves should pay for this bridge out of the billions in Liberty Media assets. I'm challenging you to play fair. I'm challenging you to stop resorting to name-calling and lying when trying to win this argument. You've resorted to posting articles on your website calling critics liberal attack dogs and saying that I am attacking the Braves. I'm not attacking the Braves. You know that I'm not against the Braves move to Cobb. You and I have discussed this one-on-one in your office at length. I'm against you spending SPLOST money as if it is your own to spend without due process. You claim that you have consistently said the bridge will cost taxpayers no more than $9 million, but in reality you told us that the bridge was included in the bond total and would cost taxpayers nothing. As time has gone by, your statements have been all over the board on the topic. As recently as 3 months ago, you said the bridge would cost us nothing. Then you gave this answer to a question. The question was, will Cobb taxpayers pay for the bridge? Your answer? Probably not. No, I doubt it. I doubt it seriously. That is not the consistency that you claim. Now, I know you don't like people looking over your shoulder when you're in the planning and negotiating stages, but that's just the way open government works. You work in a glass house and we'll be looking to see what you are doing, like it or not. Here's what I'm asking of you. Let's see you do it without holding. Stop the name calling and lying. I'll meet you in the arena and we can discuss if using parks money, fire station money, sidewalk money, and senior center money on the Braves Bridge is the right thing to do. I've known defeat in the arena, but I'm not afraid of it. I know this is a worthy cause, and I'll oppose you on this topic from this podium. I'll oppose you from those steps. I'll oppose you in court, and I'll oppose you in the public media. I will not stand by unless you spend more SPLOST money on a bridge that you promised us would cost nothing. We've spent $1 million so far to not build a bridge. Now, I know you may win in the end. You certainly have more resources than I do. But I ask you to look at your own inconsistent statements and explain those inconsistencies before you resort to name calling. Ask yourself how you're going to justify spending SPLOST money on this project and canceling projects that we approved by public vote. Explain why your own statements contradict themselves. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
That's all that signed up for the first section.
Thank you. I notice we have some Boy Scouts here tonight, and no doubt they're here for some type of merit badge, whether it's public speaking is, or there's a bunch of them. So at this time, we'd like to offer the opportunity for the Boy Scouts. Should any of you have a question or a comment you'd like to present to the board, now would be appropriate time for you to come forward. Not everybody at once, please. Troop leaders, is there anyone you want to point out for not following orders at the last camp out? I see a hand. Come on up, sir. We're glad you're here. Come on up to the podium where the gentleman was just speaking from. You can state your name, your troop, where your troop is out of, and your comment or question, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Case Kerwin. My troop is 713. We're out of Marietta, Georgia, St. Catherine's Church. And my question is, how are you guys selected?
Very carefully. No, actually, we the 5 of us are all elected. Commissioner Ott is elected from District 2, which is the southeast quadrant of the county. Commissioner Burrow is elected from District 3, which is the northeast quadrant. Commissioner Weatherford is District 1, and he is in the northwest quadrant. And Commissioner Cupid is in District 4. She's from the southwest quadrant. I am fortunate enough to serve as the chairman of Cobb County, and I'm elected county-wide by the elections. By process, 2 of the commissioners are up. At least 2 are up for election every 2 years, and then 2 years later, the other 2 plus the chairman are up for election, and we each serve 4-year terms. So we are here by the results of elections by the voters of Cobb County. That's a great question.
Thank
Do you have a follow-up?
Is there, like, for example, with the presidency, you can only serve 4 years?
Correct.
Or, sorry, 8 years?
8 years.
Mm-hmm. Is there, like, a limit to how many years you guys can serve?
So you're talking about term limits, and no, there is no term limits applied to our particular offices that we hold. Although I believe elections every 4 years is a term limit. Should people suggest that we need to have somebody else replace us, but there are no legal laws requiring us to only serve for a certain amount of time.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Very good job. Thank you for you guys being here. We appreciate it. Tab 7 takes us to consent agenda. Wait, there's one more hand. Come on, quickly.
I'm Alex Galt from Troop 795. Wait, what else was I supposed to
Where else? Where are you out of?
I'm out of Atlanta, Marietta, Georgia.
Where do you meet?
Mount Zion.
Perfect. What's your question or comment?
Are you able to ban homework?
I'm sorry?
Are you able to ban homework?
We can proclaim that homework would be banned, but nobody would listen to us.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
So,
to ban homework.
we could do a proclamation, but seriously, we as the Board of Commissioners, we're over a lot of things like roads, water, parks, libraries, senior centers, and things of that nature. Most of the stuff you come in contact with each day. The one thing we are not responsible for at all are any of the operations of the school, which would include what you have to study, how long you have to go, what bus you have to ride, what school you have to go to, how much homework you have to do. Unfortunately, we don't have any jurisdiction over that at all. I wish we could help you. We're here to serve, but I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to help you on that one. Thank you. So, tab 7, consent agenda. Commissioners, I would like to bring forward a motion to approve the consent agenda as revised and authorize the execution of necessary documents by the appropriate county personnel. There's a second. Is there any comments? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you. That takes us to tab 8, transportation, 6 items. Director DeMassimo.
Mr. Chairman, County Commissioners, and County Manager, our first item tonight is to approve supplemental agreement number 1 to the Six Flags Drive contract with CMES Inc. for construction of Riverside Parkway Sidewalk project number E7480. Six Flags Drive is an approved project in the roadway safety and operational improvements component of the 2011 SPLOST Transportation Improvements Program. Riverside Parkway Sidewalk is an approved pedestrian improvements project in the 2011 SPLOST TIP. This pedestrian improvements project is on the east side of Riverside Parkway from Six Flags Drive to South Service Road and is adjacent to the project limits of the Six Flags Drive improvements project currently underway. As CMES Inc. is mobilized at this time on Six Flags Drive, the contractor was asked to submit a quote for construction of the planned sidewalk improvements to include installation of curb and gutter, ADA compliant wheelchair ramps, a flashing beacon, and pedestrian crosswalk. The quote was reviewed and found to be reasonable and responsive. The department has determined that inclusion of the pedestrian improvements construction in the current Six Flags Drive contract would be both efficient and cost effective. Completion of this work now will also reduce the need for future traffic disruptions and inconvenience to the traveling public. The department recommends an extension of the contract time to December 31st, 2015 for completion of this additional work. Supplemental agreement number 1 to the Six Flags Drive contract with CMES Inc. An increase in an amount not to exceed $209,873.50 is requested for Riverside Parkway Sidewalk. We request that the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 1 to the Six Flags Drive contract with CMES Inc. in an amount not to exceed $209,873.50 for construction of Riverside Parkway Sidewalk project number E7480, MIS contract number 000826, authorize the corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you, Commissioner Cupid.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Mr. Massimo. I know you and I had the opportunity to speak briefly about this project, and this has been something we've been discussing because of the volume and the rate of, or the speed of traffic that's coming off of I-20. It creates some danger for pedestrians who are crossing I-20. I had an opportunity to also review the suggested design for the area, of which I'm not opposed because of the level of technical analysis that goes into it, of which I don't have insight into. But one thing I would like to do between now and the design of it is to actually go out there during rush hour so we can just get a sense of what pedestrians are experiencing in that area and see if there's anything supplemental that should be considered in addition to this project. I also had the opportunity to speak to Commissioner Ott with respect to some of his concerns regarding this being a supplemental agreement or a change order as opposed to it being a separate bid project, and would just ask if you can speak to why this process was considered versus having this go out as another project, and how things would change, how the timeline could change, or what other factors were considered, and why this was tacked onto this project.
Be glad to. I mentioned it in my presentation already, Commissioner, but I'm glad to represent that again. The Riverside Parkway Sidewalk is an approved pedestrians improvement project, and it is adjacent to the project limit of the Six Flags improvements project that's already underway.
Okay.
CMES, who's the contractor for Six Flags, is already mobilized at this time on Six Flags Drive,
Okay.
and mobilization costs are usually the highest sort of cost component of any project. The contractor was asked to submit a quote for construction of the planned sidewalk improvements. We reviewed and all the other information that was including the curb and gutter, the ADA compliant wheelchair ramps, the big flashing beacon, and so forth. We reviewed that, found it to be reasonable and responsive, and determined that including it in that current contract would be a more cost-effective way of doing it than doing it by separate bid. In addition, as I had mentioned, the completion of the work now would also reduce the need for future traffic disruptions and inconvenience to the traveling public. So in consideration of all of those things, we believe that this was the appropriate recommendation to make.
Okay, is this the first time that we've done something like this for?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Commissioner Burrow. No, we don't.
Okay, so with that, I'm sorry about that. Yes, I'd like to move for us to approve agenda item number 1 to
Second. Get a motion,
construct
second, Commissioner.
Riverside Parkway sidewalk.
Commissioner Burrow.
The supplemental agreement for $209,873, is that coming out of a sidewalk bucket or splost money from another project, or?
It's coming out of the 2011 SPLOST Transportation Improvements Program. It's just coming out of that SPLOST program and out of the funding category that's specified in here, Commissioner. It's becoming a part of that project cost. It's just SPLOST funds that are transferred into that overall
But the original
project
cost was a 1.628, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any other comments, Commissioner Ott?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I mentioned yesterday in our agenda meeting, I have concerns about a couple of the agenda items tonight with what I would call scope creep and the trend that I see. And as a result, I can't support this item because I think it's an example, and I'm not comfortable with the direction that we're going.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yes, I want to comment to that.
Is your mic on?
Yes, it is. Maybe I'm a low talker today. I'm going to scoot closer to my mic so you can hear me.
Better, thank you.
Yes, thank you. There's all of the benefits to tacking this on and for a supplemental agreement onto an existing project that you shared. And I know that that process has been deployed before, but there's also concern about projects expanding in its scope from its original design. And I'm wondering if there's a way for us to address the latter so that we can still take advantage of the benefits of being able to have some flexibility with ongoing projects, but without undermining some of the concerns that some others have with these projects. I mean, I know we're already building sidewalks in the area. This is an extension of it. It's pretty similarly related, but I'm wondering, are there limitations to expanding the scope of projects when they're on the table?
Anytime that we propose a supplemental agreement or change order to a project, we are very much aware of the need to manage effectively against the kind of scope creep issues that I know Commissioner Ott is concerned about, and we do that. And that's why we make a very strong effort, as we did in this agenda item, to always explain when we bring a supplemental agreement of any kind forward or a change order of any kind forward. We always make sure that we've given a very strong and detailed explanation that makes the case for that, and hopes to give you the assurance that in fact it's not a scope creep issue per se. It's a legitimate change that's occurred in the project.
Yeah. I mean, and I appreciate you sharing that reason, and I support it for that reasoning. And because it's so similar to the ongoing project, I mean, again, they're both addressing pedestrian safety right at that intersection. So I'll continue with my motion to support the agenda item as presented, but also being sensitive to the concerns of the commissioner.
Okay, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. Are you making a substitute motion?
I'm just continuing to support the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. Call the question. The motion carries 4-1. Commissioner Ott in opposition. Thank you. Item 2, please.
To approve the 3 most qualified firms for engineering design services of Interstate North Parkway at Interstate North Circle, project number E4190. Interstate North Parkway at Interstate North Circle is an approved project in the thoroughfares improvements component of the 2011 SPLOST Transportation Improvements Program. This project consists of the realignment of the intersection to change the through movement on Interstate North Parkway to Interstate North Circle, and also includes bicycle and pedestrian improvements along Interstate North Parkway to Windy Ridge Parkway.
Thank you. Commissioner, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, sir.
Got ahead of you.
A committee met and recommended the 3 top qualified firms to be ranked in order as follows: Heath and Lineback Engineers, Inc., AECOM Technical Services, Inc., Lowe Engineers, LLC. Once the final scope of services and fees has been negotiated, the department will present an agenda item to the board requesting approval of a contract with the selected firm. We request that the Board of Commissioners approve the recommended ranking of the 3 most qualified firms for engineering design services of Interstate North Parkway at Interstate North Circle, project number E4190, and authorize negotiations for final scope of services and fees, beginning with the top-ranked firm, Heath and Lineback Engineers, Inc., utilizing selection process 1, competitive negotiations.
Thank you. Now, Commissioner Rott.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any comments? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Item 3, please.
To approve the 3 most qualified firms for engineering design services of Mableton Parkway Pedestrian Improvements, project number E7560. Mableton Parkway Pedestrian Improvements is an approved project in the sidewalks component of the 2011 SPLOST Transportation Improvements Program. The project consists of a 10-foot wide trail on the west side of Mableton Parkway and a 5-foot wide sidewalk on the east side from Discovery Boulevard to Factory Shoals Road. The selection committee reviewed the proposals and ranked the firms. The committee recommends the top 3 qualified firms to be ranked in order as follows: American Engineers, Inc., Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc., Southeastern Engineering, Inc. Once the final scope of services and fees has been negotiated, the department will present an agenda item to the board requesting approval of a contract with the selected firm. We request the Board of Commissioners approve the recommended ranking of the 3 most qualified firms for engineering design services of Mableton Parkway Pedestrian Improvements, project number E7560, and authorize negotiations for final scope of services and fees, beginning with the top-ranked firm, American Engineers, Inc., utilizing selection process 1, competitive negotiations.
Thank you. Commissioner Cupid.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I'm very glad to support the continuation of this item and appreciate staff's responsiveness to the desire for pedestrians to have a safe path between Discovery and Mableton Parkway. That motion to approve the agenda item as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments? Call the question. Motion carries 5-0. Next item, please.
To authorize the advertisement for and conduct of a public hearing prior to expending $100,000 or more to perform engineering design services for various projects in the 2016 SPLOST Transportation Improvements Program, and authorize the issuance of requests for proposals to procure these services. The 2016 Transportation Improvements Program is the transportation portion of the 2016 Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax Program approved in the general election held on November 4, 2014. The department requests authorization to conduct a public hearing for the following projects: Dallas Highway at Lost Mountain Road, Mars Hill Road, project number X2305, Windy Hill Road, Terrell Mill Road Connector, project number X2401, Cumberland Area Traffic Cameras and Dynamic Message Signs, project number X2507, Post Oak Tritt Road at Hembry Road, project number X2311. In addition, the department requests authorization to issue requests for proposals for engineering design services for these projects utilizing selection process 1, competitive negotiations, selection process 2, competitive proposals, or selection process 4, task order contracting of the current policy for procurement of professional services as amended by the board on November 25th, 2014. We request the Board of Commissioners authorize the advertisement for and conduct of a public hearing prior to expending $100,000 or more to perform engineering design services for various projects in the 2016 SPLOST Transportation Improvements Program, and further authorize the issuance of requests for proposals to procure these services.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'll bring this forward in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? Call the question. Motion carries 5-0. Next item, please.
To authorize procurement of proprietary software and professional services for the upgrade and enhancement of the cartograph work and asset management software system, and authorize the procurement of associated hardware and software, project number E5050. Transportation Technology is an approved project in the traffic management traffic signal timing and planning component of the 2011 SPLOST Transportation Improvements Program. This project includes upgrades and enhancements to the cartograph work and asset management software system. During the business requirements definition phase of the OMS conversion project, the department identified the opportunity to simultaneously change business process workflows during the OMS implementation. The new business process changes include moving road maintenance and traffic operations maintenance activities to paperless work processes. To facilitate these changes, the department recommends additional professional services for process definition and documentation, training, and data conversion at a cost not to exceed $37,800. Additional hardware and software will be required for this upgrade in an amount not to exceed $45,500. Established county purchasing procedures will be followed for these procurements, including utilization of state contracts as applicable. Due to an increase in the number of field computers required for this upgrade, annual cellular data plan and software support fees will increase approximately $22,000. These fees are anticipated to begin in February 2016 for a projected cost not to exceed $14,600. Funding for the future annual data plan and support fees will be included in the department's routine operating biennial budget request, starting with the FY17 and 18 request. Excuse me. We request the Board of Commissioners authorize procurement of proprietary software and professional services from Cartograph Systems, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $37,800 for the upgrade and enhancement of the Cartograph Work and Asset Management Software System, project number E5050. Authorize the procurement of associated hardware and software in an amount not to exceed $45,500 and associated ongoing data plan and software support fees, and further authorize the corresponding budget transactions.
Thank you, Director. Commissioners, I'll bring this forward in the form of a motion. Is there a second? Second. Any other comment, Commissioner Ott?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is another one of the items that I talked about earlier, but earlier I forgot to mention that yesterday during our agenda meeting, you and the county manager agreed to review my concerns relative to the scope creep and things like that. So I forgot to mention that earlier.
Yep, thank you. I'll call the question. Motion carries 4-1. Commissioner Ott in opposition. Next item, please.
Last item is to authorize the procurement of 6 fixed route transit buses for Cobb Community Transit to provide future circulator service utilizing the Athens-Clarke County Heavy Duty Transit Bus Consortium contract with Gillig. The Cumberland area is a major employment and residential activity center with significant growth potential. Transportation infrastructure and services are critical for managing traffic congestion and facilitating economic development. Assets in the community that may be connected via public transit service include the National Park Service's Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area, SunTrust Park, Cumberland area employers, including Home Depot's corporate headquarters, as well as multiple cultural entertainment venues and hotels. Due to the lead time necessary for bus production, buses must be ordered now to ensure timely delivery to meet the anticipated service start date. The department recommends procurement of 6 Gillig low-floor clean diesel buses at a cost not to exceed $558,422 each. Existing FTA grants, as previously approved and appropriated by the board, include funding for procurement of new transit buses. Available FTA grant funding will provide 80% of the total $3,350,532 cost, or $2,680,426. The required 20% local match, or $670,106, is available in the Transit Division's FY16 fund balance reserves. The county's required 20% local match of $670,106 will be funded by an appropriation of CCT's fund balance. This fund balance will be replenished with Cumberland circulator revenues beginning in FY17 for a period of 3 to 5 years, with the actual payback period to be determined by actual collections received. In no case will the payback period exceed 5 years. We request that the Board of Commissioners authorize the procurement of 6 fixed route transit buses for Cobb Community Transit CCT to provide future circulator service in an amount not to exceed $3,350,532, utilizing the Athens-Clarke County Heavy Duty Transit Bus Consortium contract with Gillig LLC, and further authorize the corresponding budget transactions.
Thank you, Commissioner Ott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's been a lot of discussion in social media and some other places about this agenda item. And a lot of folks think that it's totally related to the Braves, but I would just like to remind folks that all the way back as far as Blueprint Cumberland number 1 and number 2, there has been a discussion of circulator systems in Wildwood, Cumberland area. So this is not a new concept that the county has all of a sudden just started thinking about as relative to the Braves Stadium. In fact, the Braves Stadium, but also, in addition, the addition of 1,500 residential units on the south side of Interstate 285 and another 1,500 on the north side, all contribute to the need to look at exactly how to put the circulator system in place. I would also like to point out that when the Board of Commissioners approved the Memorandum of Understanding for the Braves, the circulator is in there because it was discussed in the financing for the stadium. Part of the fee for the hotels was going to go towards the operation of the circulator system. So this is not something that the board has not said that they intend on moving forward on. What has not been fully decided yet is exactly the route. And part of the reason for the circulator study, the board got briefed at a work session, and then also the pedestrian study is to determine exactly where pedestrians are going to be, what their habit patterns are going to be, and where exactly the circulator system ought to be. And I think it's important also to note, and I know the director said it, but this is initially being paid for with CCT fund balance, but it is going to be paid back by this fee that was agreed back with the MOU. So this really is all about the lead time and getting the buses into the system so that they can be here on time. So motion to approve.
Second. Is a motion, is a second. I'd just like to again agree with you for the second time this week. Just kidding. This has been something that's been in, you worked hard on the two studies that got it to this point where the circulator was been part of it. We actually wanted to move forward on something similar to this back in 2007, but the economy played into a lot of the things we did and put on hold. So this is I think something that's good for the entire corridor, as you mentioned, and I appreciate your leadership in the studies that actually led to this back before we got to this point. So I support it. Commissioner Weatherford.
Just a point of clarification, in my understanding, if the plan is not approved by this board or whatever, so we are on the hook for these buses or what?
The buses will be purchased, sir. We'll just integrate them into the overall fleet.
Great, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Call the question. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, Director. Take care of that cold, please. Tab 9, Public Services Agency. Mr. Cannon.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners, and County Manager. We have 4 items tonight. The first item is for the Board of Commissioners to authorize the expenditure of cell tower funds in the amount of $2,181,260 for maintenance, resurfacing, repair of tennis courts, and replacement of playground equipment and safety surface material at various parks. Further authorize the corresponding budget transactions. All of you are aware of that all the cell towers that are located in our park system, those funds are used to keep our tennis courts and our playgrounds in good shape for the citizens of Cobb County. It's a great program that was brought forward by the Board of Commissioners many, many years ago, and it's helped us throughout the years to be able to have quality facilities. So with that, I ask for your approval.
Thank you, Commissioner Burrow.
I would like to make a motion to approve.
Any other questions? Call the question. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
The next item is for the Board of Commissioners to approve the final closeout supplemental agreement and deductive change order number 1 to the contract with North Georgia Concrete Incorporated, reducing the contract by $55,019 for a revised total contract amount of $595,246.31 for construction services related to the rehabilitation of the dam at Jim Miller Park. This comes under the 2011 Park Splash Program. Ask that you authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you. Commissioner Cupid.
Motion to approve.
Before we go, as you know, we just got done with a very, very soggy North Georgia State Fair. This did exactly what it was supposed to do.
It did.
Perfectly, absolutely perfectly. Thank you. Call the question. Motion carries 5-0. Item 3, please.
The next item is for the Board of Commissioners to approve a final closeout supplemental agreement and deductive change order number 1 to the contract with Triscapes Incorporated, reducing the contract by $5,000 for a revised total contract amount of $170,714.91 for construction services related to the installation of new athletic field irrigation system at Lost Mountain Park. This comes under the 2011 Park SPLOST program. I ask that you authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Weatherford.
Motion to approve is presented, sir.
Second.
Any comments? Call the question. Motion carries 5-0. Item 4, please.
The final item is for the Board of Commissioners to approve a final closeout supplement agreement and deductive change order number 1 to the contract with Sports Turf Company Incorporated, reducing the contract by $2,010 for a revised total contract amount of $1,002,115 for the construction services related to the redevelopment of Sandy Plains Park. This comes under the 2011 Park SPLOST program. I ask that you authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you. Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve.
Call the question.
Forward to the improvement.
Yes.
Call the question. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
So that takes us to tab 10. 2 items. John?
Evening, Chairman, Commissioners, County Manager. Our first item deals with the Health Department and the SPLOST work there. The Health Department has asked us to bring part of their 2016 SPLOST work into a current contract that we're doing currently at the Health Department headquarters. And let me give you some history. Included in the 2011 SPLOST, we are renovating the Health Department headquarters, and we completely renovated the Health Department Annex, which is next door, the former juvenile court facility. A couple months ago, we added approximately $1.1 million of the 2016 SPLOST work for the Health Department to that contractor's work. And the Health Department has pre-funded that, and they'll be reimbursed once that money is available. This agenda item, the Health Department has asked us to put this in there to complete all of the 2016 work for the Health Department in that building. The reason for this, the justification is, we'll save money for mobilization. The contractor is already on site working in those areas. There'll be less disruption, because if this contractor finishes and another one comes, we tear everything up again. We're utilizing some of the unit prices on some of the items that were in the bid amount of the original contract. This change, as well as the previous one, this procurement in this manner was reviewed by the purchasing director. Other items of the 2016 SPLOST that are not directly associated with the work in this headquarters are being bid outside of this and done by outside contractors other than this. So this is not as much of an expansion of scope as much it is as a continuation of the project and adding some additional things that were not in the original scope. The department recommends that the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 4 to the contract with John Spratlin and Son in the amount of $332,953.32 for additional construction services related to the 2016 SPLOST projects at the Health Department headquarters building located at 1650 County Services Parkway. Authorize acceptance of funding from the Health Department. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions upon receipt of funds from the Health Department. And further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you, John. Commissioners, I'll bring this forward in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments, Commissioner Ott?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the final one of the 3, and in fact, this is the one as I mentioned yesterday, I have the most difficulty with, so I can't support it.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I have some questions.
Commissioner.
For clarification, the part that is being funded from the 2016 SPLOST, the total project with the 16 SPLOST money and the current SPLOST project, we're not exceeding the project list amount of the 6 million total?
No, ma'am. What we're adding here is part of a $2 million 2016 project, 2016 SPOS project. We already added 1.1. This is 3. The additional part of this are for those other things at the headquarters are going to be done outside of this contract.
Right, and we legally can do that even though, not put it out to bid because we
Yes,
can
ma'am.
legally do that because
Yes,
of
we
the procurement
reviewed all of this
process
with the
that it's
purchasing
gone through
department.
originally.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I understand, you know, the reason that it's better with women and children, babies, working around them and the construction going on now. It's better to, for safety reasons, of course, to finish what we can now and reimburse the health department down the road, as long as we're not expanding what's already on the list and going over the budgeted amount or projected amount.
Agreed.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other comments? Call a question. Motion carries 4-1. Commissioner Ott in opposition. Agenda item number 2, please.
Our second item is to procure the services of a realtor, and that's in assisting locating some properties for the 2016 SPOS projects. One that comes to mind is Fire Station 29 in Cumberland. And our recommendation is that the board authorize to advertise for and request for proposals for the purpose of procuring services of a real estate professional to assist in the purchase of real property, and authorize the chairman to execute necessary documents.
Thank you. Commissioners, I'll bring this forward in a form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? Call the question. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Good job. Tab 11, Community Development. Dana.
Good evening again, Chairman Dana Johnson, Cobb County Community Development. I am here on an agenda item regarding the suspension of the issuance of citations by code enforcement for a section of code that deals with the parking of vehicles located at single-family dwelling units. As a point of clarification, this was a point of discussion at your last Board of Commissioners zoning meeting. There was a lot of discussion about this particular code. As a point of reference, this particular code was put into place a number of years ago as a union of codes that came together to help address some issues of overcrowding that we had in some areas of Cobb County. There were instances where we had single-family homes that were being converted into boarding houses and fraternities and sororities and other types of living units of that particular nature. This was one of those codes that were put into place to help us address that issue. This code had a very good goal to it, but in the end, I think there are some unintended consequences to it, and there are some families and others that have been kind of wrapped up into this based upon the code and how it was written. So what this particular agenda item would do would cease, if this is approved, it would cease community development's issuing of citations as it relates to this code, and it would then, we would bring back a revised code as part of our normal code amendment process in January and February of 2016.
Thank you. So, I'm going to make a recommendation as follows. The Board of Commissioners directs staff to suspend the issuance of citation for Section 134-1 definition, single-family dwelling unit, Part 3, regarding the number of and location of vehicles allowed to be parked at a residence until March 1st, 2016, or until a code amendment has been approved, whichever date is earlier, and further direct staff to proceed with the research and potential revisions to this definition and to prepare subsequent code amendments to be included in January 2016 code amendment package. Is there a second? A second. Commissioner?
Just would like to clarify for the record that this is just related to vehicles parked at the residence. Has nothing to do with number of people living in a dwelling unit.
That is correct. The only portion of the code per this agenda item would be authorizing staff to look at to be specific, the number of and location of vehicles parked at single-family residences.
Commissioner Ott? Pardon me? Call the question. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Tab 12, our second public comment. Counselor?
Rosalind Neville.
Good evening. My name is Rosalind Neville. I have lived for 27 years here in Cobb County in a home that is back-to-back with North Chestnut Grove subdivision. I'm sorry, but my voice is... And in 2013, I requested from North Chestnut Grove to take down 3 dead trees in the outlot behind my house. In the process of doing that, they took up the entire covert, tore it up, dropped a tree on my property, and dumped what they took down behind my house. I came to one of the meetings, I spoke with Jamie Sint and Rob Hosack concerning what I took as a harsh offense, that you would take down dead debris and throw it in a covert behind my house. I have lived there for 27 years, and I was just dumbfounded by what happened. Recently, I have tried to talk with stormwater management concerning this debris behind my house. Jamieson has left. Anyone that comes out there and sees it, they do nothing. They look at it, and if you could see how clean I keep that culvert behind my house. They were afraid to go in it. I said, no problem, come on, it's clean. They were shocked. I keep it clean, and this debris sits there. I did think that, what, do you have a friend in stormwater management that no one could come out here for over a year and make them address what they did? You know, but now they say to me, well, we're not sure who put it there. Well, you've allowed them time to put a lawn there. And then one of the homeowners, he's angry because I have a medical burn ban, because they were using the outlot as a social place to gather and burn behind my house. And I got a letter from the doctor, and I have a medical burn ban. So why would I? And when they dropped the tree on my property, I asked the workers why they did it, and they said, well, the homeowner association president told him to do that, because I felt they were trying to open up a space to validate that they didn't put that debris there. So it's frustrating, because for over a year now, no one, they come, they look, they see how it is, and nothing is done. On top of that, I have a neighbor, and this is through code enforcement, that's stormwater management. He is growing bushes attached to his house to the second story. My husband had 2 spinal surgeries, and the bushes are attached to his house up to the second story. He has bushes along 72 feet of my property line, 72 feet. Weeds, I called code enforcement. I said, hey, who's supposed to try to trim this? And they said to me, well, I'm sorry, we only have codes for 12 inches of grass. He has 14 switch trees, weeds, within a walking distance of 10 feet, which is where we come into our yard to cut the back grass. And he has 72 feet of the property line from the front to the back with all of these growing bushes. And all I get from code enforcement is that we only are able to help if it's 12 inches of grass. And I said, and who is supposed to trim he grows everything right to the property line. And you say, well, he's trying to block out something. If you would come to my subdivision, they would tell you, my property is one of the most pretty.
Ms. Neville, I'm sorry, your time's up.
Something needs to be done. I need fairness or equal representation.
Thank you, ma'am. The county manager's here. I'm sure he'll be able to help at least identify what the issues are. Thank you. Any other speakers?
Thank you.
No, there's not, Chairman.
Thank you. The Boy Scouts, anybody else want to come ask about homework or plumbing or something? Anybody? We're going to close the public comment. There you go. Takes us to tab 13, Commissioner's Public Address. Mr. Weatherford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Don't have a whole lot tonight. I was going to, not sure if anyone was going to mention the Forever Fest, but I thought I would go ahead and.
What, are you kidding me?
What? Yeah, I know it. That's why I'm doing it.
He's public safety.
Yeah.
I put flyers in the back table there.
All right, I'll defer to Commissioner Burrow because she'll get mad at me.
No, go ahead, you do it.
No, that's okay. I would like to say and congratulate Commissioner Cupid. I know that she passed the bar exam, but what she also did was she's now a certified county commissioner, which I know far exceeds passing the bar exam, and has completed 66 hours of training, which is a great feat. So we're proud of you for that as well. Wish everybody a happy Halloween, and I defer all the fur comments to Commissioner Burrow.
Commissioner Burrow.
Okay. Congratulations, Commissioner Cupid, on both counts. Proud of you. I would like to also thank everyone that attended our final How to Do Business with Cobb seminar last Thursday evening, and also appreciate our staff, county government staff, and Cobb school staff for participating. And we'll pick those back up next year, and we appreciate you keeping it in Cobb. Thanks also to those that donated diapers for Cobb Diaper Day yesterday. It was a huge success in spite of the rain, and we appreciate your generosity that makes a huge impact on those in need. And another congrats again to our Cobb Steelers. We're very proud of them all. Also, our Cobb County International Airport Air Traffic Control Tower won the 2015 General Aviation Project of the Year Award in Georgia. The 78-foot tower at twice the height of the original has improved visibility and the work environment for our air traffic control personnel. Congratulations to the airport, Carl Van Hagel, and also Cobb DOT. The Town Center Community Improvement District has unveiled its new logo this morning. It's representative of a virtual map pen, and I think it's going to come up on your screen in a minute, to what you would find on a GPS mapping application, visually implying that everything you need is right here in Town Center. A 6.25 square mile bright spot in Cobb County that also has a plethora of real estate, dining, shopping, entertainment options, along with KSU and our Cobb County International Airport within its boundaries. The logo provides a sense of place with a look that reflects the Town Center CID is putting the area on the map. Congratulations to Town Center CID for a job well done. Commissioner Weatherford mentioned the Forever Fest is our next adopt-a-thon for the animal shelter. It will be on Saturday, November 7th from 10 to 4 p.m. at the animal shelter on Al Bishop Drive. So please come out and take home your new best friend. November 11th is approaching, and that, of course, is Veterans Day. And the U.S. Army Field Band is coming to Cobb to the Lassiter Concert Hall at 7:30 p.m. and it is a sold-out event. However, the Cobb Wind Symphony will have their Veterans Day concert at the Lassiter Concert Hall on Sunday, November 8th from 3 to 5. It is also a free event, but you don't have to register to attend. You just go at 3 o'clock. And the website is cobbwindsymphony.org for more information. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Cupid.
Good evening. I would like to first strongly encourage residents of Magnolia Crossing to please attend your community open house, which will be held this Thursday, October 29th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. There was a public comment with respect to activity that's taking place there right now with the movement of residents. And on Thursday, there will be discussion of additional community and also additional monetary resources to be provided to residents. So if you are listening and reside there or know someone who does, I encourage you to please come out and encourage others to come out to that meeting this Thursday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. There are a couple of events that are going on in November, which are oriented around small businesses and entrepreneurship. Powder Springs is having a business expo, and that will be held on Saturday, November 7th at the Patricia Vaughn Cultural Arts Center, located off of Atlanta Street in Powder Springs. There'll be booths, speakers, workshops, and networking opportunities and demonstrations there, and admission is free, so I encourage our small business owners and aspiring business owners to attend that event. There is also an event the following week on Thursday, November 12th, to help subcontractors learn how to connect with our current general contractors. And that will be held, again, Thursday, November 12th, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. right here in the Board of Commissioners room. And there will be information shared about how to access advertised bids and bidding opportunities, where to locate bid information, and again, learning from general contractors about some of the things that they are looking for when selecting subcontractors. And I would like to thank Joe Tommy with purchasing for all of your assistance with that event. And I forgot to also thank Sabrina Young with community development for coordinating the open house at Magnolia Crossing. Finally, I want to thank the commissioners and the public for your support for my attempt to pass the bar and successful completion of that feat. I'm quite honored and appreciate Commissioner Weatherford in recognizing my final completion of course credit to become a certified county commissioner. And I think I joined the ranks of 3 other commissioners up here, and Bob Weatherford should hopefully soon, if he continues his trek into the ACCG training program. With that, thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you. Commissioner Ott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to offer my congratulations also. Job well done. I know it was a lot of work, a lot of hard studying, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Second thing, I just want to remind the folks in District 2 to check both the DOT, well, all 3, DOT, my website, and also the Cobb County Marietta Water Authority's website, as they are getting ready to start phase 2 of the pipeline project. So just as you've gotten used to the traffic delays and nightmare on, I would say Elm Street, but it's not, but we're going to add to the, well, they're going to add to the mess. So just go to the website and find out what's going to happen. And then, as always, every Friday in the Friday update, we'll give you an update on what's happening. Starting next month, you can support myself, Commissioner Weatherford, and the Finance Department. They did not want me to forget, because it's a major change for the guys in the Finance Department who have mustaches and beards, which are going away at the end of this month as we all grow mustaches, for prostate cancer awareness. But you can help by purchasing T-shirts from the Fire Department, which the design is on the websites. Also, there is a safety blitz on November 7th at Cobb Park in Smyrna. And then finally, I challenge all the Boy Scouts in the audience. I know a lot of you are just starting out as Scouts. One of the things the Board of Commissioners does is when you make Eagle, we bring you back and you tell everyone what you did for your Eagle Project, and we give you a certificate. So I challenge all of you to be back so that we can recognize you when you make Eagle.
Do we have any Eagles on our board?
2.
They would be?
I believe the Bob.
The Bobs.
The Bobs.
So, who is the gentleman asked about whether or not we're appointed? Is he still here?
I think he's left.
Okay. Somebody take back the message. It helps to be an Eagle. Commissioner Cupid, I also would like to congratulate you on your accomplishments regarding the bar. I know you worked very, very hard to get that done, so congratulations on making that happen. I would like to also congratulate the Cobb County Water Department as they were recognized by the National Environmental Protection Agency. Actually recognized Cobb County Water System as one of the 7 partners of the year. Congratulations on that, Steve in the water department, they win more awards than, well, Eddie might be close, but what the water department does for us on a regular basis is make sure not only the clean water gets to our house, but the clean water gets back into our water sources is often goes unnoticed. I want to congratulate them. Today, the West Cobb Business Association recognized several Cobb County employees at the 2015 Public F4, giving them 2015 Public Service Awards. Detective David Racy from Cobb PD, Senior Crime Scene Technician Candace Palmer from the Sheriff's Office, Deirdre McKean from Cobb County 911 and Precinct 5 Cobb PD for hosting their meetings. I'd like to just give a thank you to the West Cobb Business Association for taking the time to stop and recognize our public safety folks and presenting these 2015 Public Service Awards. Is Vida with us? Faye? Nope. Somebody shake their head louder. I can't see anybody. No, she's not. Thank you. But Vida Covington has recently been announced as the new general manager of Cobb Community Transit. We welcome her. She's most recently with the Maryland Transit Administration. We're glad you're home. We're glad she chose Cobb. And we saw earlier that the Atlanta Braves announced the mixed-use development, Battery Atlanta. We look forward to that blowing up with us, or growing up with us here. Antico Pizza, which people wait forever to get into that place. Fox Brothers Barbecue, Serpica, and a new steakhouse among those to come, which will be, can't wait for it to get going just for that reason, if nothing else. Okay, I have a town hall meeting in District 3 on November 5th from 6:30 to 8 at Chestnut Ridge Christian Church, which is 2663 Johnson's Ferry Road. You'll be there? Yep, great. So if you have the opportunity to make it out that night, I appreciate that. One other thing, 2 other things. Earlier today, we had an update on a SPLOST progress from the 2011 SPLOST, and all the departments did a great job of bringing us up to speed and where we are on that, and the city of Kennesaw came and gave a great update as well. But I have to tell folks at home that there is a progress report that is issued that has got more information in it than you could ever want about the SPLOST program. We promised our constituents that if they approved the SPLOST program, that we would be very, very thorough in making sure that we had more than enough information available to them so they could be able to follow along with us on each of these projects. And I think staff, you guys do an outstanding job, number one, of communicating the information that's in this SPLOST, the progress, the completed jobs, and recapping it as it goes along. And this progress report, I believe, is available online, correct? Somebody nod real loudly. Yes, it is. I encourage folks at home, if they're interested in finding out where their penny goes, that this is a great report to help demonstrate that transparency and completeness in which we're trying to do. The other thing I want to mention is that one of our local owns, Zach Seaball, is in the 4th phase of the Voice We don't know when he's going to appear on television in the next couple of weeks, but we know it'll be no later than next Tuesday. We hope he wins and goes through to the live. But we encourage you to turn into The Voice as Zach Seaball continues his quest to win that program. He's a very talented young man. And as you've mentioned and seen and heard today, as we've had presenters come up, there's a few people walking around with colds that might get into flus and things of that nature. We are into flu season, folks, and it promises to be one of the worst. I encourage everybody to wash their hands to the happy birthday song twice as often as possible. With that, we're finished. Have a safe Halloween, veteran, or have a safe Halloween, Boy Scouts. I know you're all going dressed as Girl Scouts. Have a great evening. Anything further, County Manager? We are adjourned.